it's Phil coming back at you with another video. Today, I'm back. I'm excited. Hopefully, everyone's doing well practicing self-care, not letting one thought, one situation, one person take them outside of what they know to be true. This video is going to be telling you about the free study group this Saturday, 10/22, starting at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So the video is going to show you the sign-up process, the instructions, and some of the drawbacks that people typically experience when they try to sign up for this study group. But before I get into that, I want to talk about the next upcoming paid study groups that I have. And the paid study groups are where you're able to review content as well as practice questions, to not memorize anything, but be able to recognize and apply them, to go into the exam, kick them directly in the chest to get the job done. The next ones coming up are as follows. 10/23, ethics, so going through the code of ethics, different ethical considerations, as well as the differences between a subpoena versus a court order, as well as when you should seek supervision, as well as when you should refer a client out. And again, going through practice questions related to those. The next one after that is 10/30, the defense mechanism. So going through each defense mechanism, giving you examples, not just traditional examples, but giving you examples that you're able to actually remember and be able to recognize the concept, because again, these sessions are not for you to memorize anything, but be able to actually recognize and apply them, and as well as apply the information to questions on the exam, and then going through practice questions related to those. The next one after that is 11/6, human developmental theory. So going through different human developmental theories. So Erickson's, PJ, Koberg, as well as practice questions related to those. And the next one after that is 11/13, acronym and practice questions. So going through the acronyms: safety, feelings, assess, refer, educate, advocate, facilitate, and intervene, and giving you different ways to conceptualize those, as well as how to actually apply the darn thing. Because a lot of times people misconstrue what they should actually be doing as it relates to the acronym, as well as going through the 6-step process that I recommend every single person to utilize as they're breaking down questions. In addition to that, going through practice questions. And as I always say, do not go into this session trying to get everything correct, but have an open mind and give yourself the grace to run the race to get the lessons that you need in order to go into the exam, kick it directly in the chest to get the job done. And why I say that is because a lot of times people come into those sessions expecting to get every single question right, and then they don't get as many right as they want to. And then they start debating with themselves whether they should reschedule their exams or if they're ready or not. And again, these sessions are meant to give you an opportunity to push yourself and challenge yourself, because I would rather have you go through a difficult situation outside of the exam versus having a difficult situation inside of the exam. And if you want any information related to those, send me an email at berda24@gmail.com, or click the link down below in the description, which is the view more under the title, and it'll send you to all the different calendars that I have, as well as I do still offer individual tutoring. So if you want to work directly with me, whether you're not feeling motivated for your exam, whether you want to figure out whether your process of breaking down the questions is on point, or if you want to review different concepts or content areas, it's 100% possible. So if you want to schedule a session, send me an email at berda24@gmail.com, or click the link down below in the description, view more, and it'll send you to the calendar and allow for you to register for those sessions, as well as the next one-day course is going to be next Saturday. So not the 22nd, but the 29th, or just before Halloween, because I want to give you kind of a scare before Halloween. Just kidding. But the one-day course is the most successful thing that I've ever done. Why? Because it gives you the most amount of information, as well as application and being able to apply the skills that you have, as well as it's the most amount of time that you can spend directly with me, because the one-day course starts at 11 a.m. Eastern Time until they kick us out. The last couple have ended at sometimes midnight, 1 a.m., or even 2 a.m. Eastern Time, because I want you to get as much information as well as strategies and techniques that you can utilize in order to go in the exam, kick it directly in the chest to get the job done, because the one-day course is the tips that I found most helpful for people to go in the exam, kick it directly in the chest to get the job done. The most common reasons why people have failed the exam, because what better way to learn from what not to do than people that have gone into the exam and not been successful before, as well as reviewing different content areas: subpoena versus court order, referral versus supervision, operant conditioning, the medications, the personality disorders, the schizophrenia spectrum, the acronym, the 6-step process that I recommend every single person go in the exam, kick it directly in the chest to get the job done, as well as 25 practice questions. And as I stated within the 11/13 session, do not come to this one-day course trying to blow it out or get 100%, because a lot of times people come to the one-day course and say, man, I'm not understanding how to break down these questions, or man, why am I getting these things wrong, or man, I should reschedule schedule, or I was practicing with another program and these were easier questions. Are the exam questions going to be as difficult as these? And the questions I typically construct are more difficult than the ones on the exam. So if you want any information related to the one-day course, you can send me an email at berda24@gmail.com or click the link down below in the description, which is the view more. In addition to that, if your exam is prior than the 29th, you can send me an email at berda24@gmail.com and get the recording for the previous session that I did last month. In addition to that, for those that do not know, Audible is continuing to partner with me on my YouTube videos and my podcast. So if you want to support me as well as support them, go to my Audible affiliate link at www.audibletrial.com/fill-in-the-gaps. Sign up for the 30-day free trial because that's how you can support me and it costs you absolutely nothing. And Audible is an easy way to get information on the go. So if you're busy just like me or an auditory learner just like me, you can get information on the go to become the best possible version of yourself, because information is going to help change situations in some way, shape, or form. So again, if you want to support me as well as support them, go to my Audible affiliate link at www.audibletrial.com/fill-in-the-gaps. Sign up for the 30-day free trial and get yourself a free book. And if you sign up for the 30-day free trial, you may be wondering, what book should I get? There are a couple that I would recommend, and they are as follows: The Alchemist, The Archer, UOU, as well as Outliers. Each of them have different lessons that you can get, not just to progress professionally, but personally become the best possible version of yourself. So again, if you want to support me as well as support them, go to my Audible affiliate link at www.audibletrial.com/fill-in-the-gaps. Sign up for the 30-day free trial. And if you haven't already, hit the like button down below. That's thumb up button next to the title. Helps other amazing social workers just like you find my channel as well as rep and rock with me as well. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button down below, hit the bell notification next to it, because it'll send you an email every single time that I upload a video just like this, so you never want to miss anything. In addition to that, do me a favor, put a comment down below of something positive, something that you're going through, something that is going to be a goal of yours, or just simply, man, thanks for doing this, or man, I'm coming to the free study group, because I don't know about anyone else. I read every single comment and it helps me continue pushing and progressing on. As well as, if you haven't already or you did not know, check out my podcast at Fill in the Gaps on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify, because those are different ways that you can rep and rock with me as well. And as I always say from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate every single one of you guys. Hope to see you in the free study group on 10/22 at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. And the study group is going to go for however long is needed. And that study group is not going to really be going over content specifically or practice questions specifically. We will go over a couple of practice questions, but that study group is more for individuals that are feeling unmotivated. They're not really sure how to go after they fail the exam, or if they've never taken the exam before, as well as I'm going to have people that went in the exam, kicked it directly in the chest, and got the job done, come back and share their experiences of what that was like. Because a lot of the people that have passed the exams while repping and rock with me, they were repping with other programs, or it's not their first time, and then they started joining the Fill in the Gaps community, and then they just destroyed the doggone exam and then got to that next level and are doing and living the best life. And you're like, man, Phil, how in the heck do I sign up for the study group? You want to go to my calendar, which is at fillinthegaps.as.me, and then you will go to my calendar page. Again, you need to type this link in or go down below in the description and click the link, and it'll send you to the calendar page. But again, it is fillinthegaps.as.me. So once you enter that into a web browser or click the link, it'll send you to a page that looks just like this. So once you're on the calendar, again, this is going to be an overall overview calendar that you can schedule any session that you want, but you want to click this free study group tab. You'll hit book. And then from here, you'll select your time zone, whatever time zone that you're in. I'm in Eastern time. And then you want to click set time zone. And a lot of times people do not click that, and then they get confused of like, man, what the heck is going on? So then you'll only have the 20-second option open. So you'll click that. You'll hit add time, hit continue, and then you'll enter your information. And again, if I was registering for the session, I would put Phil Luttrell, as well as my email address, for those that do not know, is berda24@gmail.com. But you want to make sure that you spell this correctly, because if you don't spell it correctly, you may not get the reminder emails, and then you may miss out on the session. So making sure your information is correct, making sure your email is spelled correctly, hit complete appointment, and then it will have the information. This is the Zoom link, so if you want to copy and put it into a secure place, you 100% can, but there will be 24-hour as well as a 1-hour reminder email for this session. So that is the process of registering for the session. So again, the steps are going to my calendar, clicking the free study group, hitting book, and then it'll send you to the calendar. But before that, you want to hit your time zone, hit set time zone, go to the calendar, click the appointment, hit continue, enter your name, enter your email, and then you'll be able to attend the free study group. Again, there will be 24 hours as well as a 1-hour reminder email. So that is the process of being able to register for the session. So relatively easy, relatively seamless. And again, if you have any questions related to that, you can send me an email at berda24@gmail.com. And like I said, relatively seamless process of being able to register for the free study group. Again, it is going to be this Saturday, the 22nd at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time until they kick us out, and it's going to go as long as we need to. So if you're, again, feeling unmotivated, you're not really sure where to turn, you just took the test and you got the result that you didn't want to get, which is, again, you failed the exam, or man, I'm not really sure what I need to be doing, I have a lot of programs, I'm feeling overwhelmed, etc. That session is going to be beneficial for you. And if that's all you wanted is how to register for the free study group, again, the instructions are go to the calendar, hit book, set your time zone, enter your information, hit complete appointment, and then you will be able to attend the free study group. And for those that are like, man, I'm not feeling okay with my exam, or I'm not feeling pumped up to get into the exam, or I just failed the exam and I'm not feeling where I want to be, my biggest encouragement right now is just to keep going, keep trying to get to where you want to go. And it's easier said than done and be like, okay, well, I'm just going to hit the reset button. But what that needs to look like is, what did you do positive? What are things that you didn't do that you wanted to do? Or what are things that you did in the exam that you weren't actually excited that you did? And then learning from those things. Because a lot of times people go into the exam, fail the exam, and then be like, all right, I'm just going to forget everything that has happened in the test. And it doesn't help them in the future, because that what you forget or what you don't recognize or reflect on, you tend to repeat over and over and over and over and over, because a lot of times what you don't reflect on or make adaptations to in your life, you're going to continuously do them. And as it relates to the exam, and if you're not able to petition to take the exam sooner than 90 days, again, 90 days is a long time to forget the lessons and blessings that you had from that exam, and you may forget them. So even if you're not where you want to be, or you're being harder on yourself, or you're finding it difficult to even get yourself going, you got to remind yourself, like, man, this is a process of healing, and this is a process for me to learn. But if I don't put that effort in, and that effort doesn't always just mean time, that effort could just simply just mean you reflecting on it and thinking about it and identifying different ways. But again, in order to continue strengthening something, you have to repetitively do it. You have to continue doing something that may not be something that you want to do, or you have to keep doing something that may not be comfortable for you in order to get that comfortability over time. Because if you've done anything in your life that you've never done before, which is almost every single day, hopefully for every single person, it's not going to be easy when you first start going. It's not going to be easy once you even get into the middle point, or even once you have gotten to a certain point in your life. It's never going to be a 100% easy thing, because you're always going to find a different way to make adaptations, or things are going to be upgraded, or things are going to be changing forever throughout your life. But you have to remind yourself that you got the level and the skills and talents and abilities that you had from the past. You don't just lose everything and that you get like a frontal lobotomy every time that you take the exam. So again, learning from what you've been doing, but also reminding yourself that some of the things that you've been doing are things that you should not be carrying forth into the future, and getting that job at that moment. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times people will continue doing the same things over and over and over because somebody has told them to do it. Somebody has reminded them that they should be doing those things. But at the end of the day, if it's not the right thing for you and it doesn't feel right, it's probably not right. And I talk to people every single day. They're like, man, Phil, I've been studying with this other program, or man, I've been doing this technique or this strategy, and it doesn't feel okay for me. My anxiety's on 10. I'm like feeling frustrated. I'm like all over the place, but I continue doing it because it's what somebody else has told me to do. And that is why my push again is to keep trying, keep reminding yourself of what you need to be doing. But if you're doing things that don't feel right or comfortable for you, or you know you shouldn't be doing, giving yourself that grace and recognizing and saying, you know what, I'm still doing those things that I didn't want to do, but at the end of the day, I have to start putting forth effort to make something in a different way, or I have to continue doing things in a way that may not feel comfortable for me at this moment. But is it the discomfort coming from a lens of pain, or is that discomfort coming from a lens of comfortability coming in the future? Is it coming from, I have to go through the repetitions that don't feel right, or I have to go through the repetitions that aren't like the coolest reps or the cutest reps in order to get to that level? So that's my push for everybody, is to keep going, regardless of whether you think what you're doing is right, or whether you think what you're doing is actually going to lead you to where you want to go, because your mind is going to create situations or facts or different scenarios that aren't actually going to be relevant within that situation. And what I mean by that is, regardless of what you're doing, whether it's something you've been doing forever or if it's something new to you, your mind is oftentimes going to play tricks on you and tell you that you don't even know what you're doing, regardless of how much you've been doing it, or how many times that you've done it, or make you second guess or overthink or change your mind at the last moment. And that's where you always want to remind yourself that am I needing to make a change? Or is my mind convincing me that a change is needed because I'm not getting the result that I want in the timeline that I want it in? It doesn't look how I want it to look. Or is somebody else doing the same thing that I'm doing and I'm comparing myself to that person? Or I'm comparing myself to somebody that's not going through the same things as I am? Or I'm comparing myself, or the feedback I'm getting from my environment is that a change is needed, but it's not a change that I want to do. I'm being forced to make a change, or I'm being forced to do something, because you never want to go through a situation where you're feeling forced, because then when you're feeling forced, you're automatically going to be defensive. You're automatically going to go into the situation and say, yep, this isn't something that I want to do, or nope, this is something that I should be away from, or man, I need to run away from this. Because a lot of times people are like, man, Phil, I'm afraid of failing. A lot of times people aren't afraid of failing, they're afraid of actually succeeding. And what I mean by that is people are not oftentimes afraid of failing because it's predictable of what is going to occur when you fail. People are afraid of succeeding because the opportunities and all of the skills and abilities and the expectations that are going to be placed on you after you get to where you want to go are oftentimes going to be varying depending on the environment, depending on the situation, or depending on who is going to be communicating with you. So again, a lot of times people are afraid of succeeding because the added expectations or the added responsibilities or all these different things or demands that people are going to put on you once you succeed. So a lot of times people may actually sabotage their efforts because they want people to think that they're trying to succeed at something, or they're still putting effort or putting steps or taking steps to where they want to go or where that person wants them to go. But deep down in their mind, they're like, I don't actually want this. So I'm going to be resistant and push back and get defensive when something doesn't actually align with what I want. So that's where you want to ask yourself, am I doing this for myself? Am I doing this for a genuine reason? Am I still giving myself that ability to get to that next level? And if so, great. But if you're not where you want to be, but in the back of your mind, you're like, I never wanted to do this, or this isn't something that I want to do any longer, or this isn't an environment that I actually want to occupy, that's okay too. You have to really give yourself that permission to say, you know what, I'm going to take a step back. I'm not going to put that expectation that somebody else is putting on me. And then when you find a reason for why you want to do it, it's going to mean a lot more to you than if somebody's telling you, just do it and then get through it. Because once you accomplish that, it's not going to mean anything to you because it didn't have a meaning from the start. You can't just hotwire a meaning of like, all right, this means something to me, or man, this is important to me. But it has to start genuine from the beginning, because a lot of times when people start something, they have a meaning, they have a mission, they have a drive and passion behind it. But over time, they lose their vision, they lose that passion, and they let what the situation was supposed to look like override what it actually looks like. Because at the end of the day, it may not look like how you want it to look like. But if you aren't willing to make that adaptation or make that adjustment in the situation right now, regardless of what it looked like, you were going to have rigidity from the start. You're like, it's either looking like this or I'm out. I'm going to do this or I'm out. Or it should look like this or I'm out. And what that could look like in your test prep is, I'm not getting as many questions right as I wanted to at this point, or I should have studied more up to this point, or man, I should be doing better, or man, I went in the exam, I got a lower score than I did before. What was all that effort for? You have to identify what changed from this attempt to this attempt, or what changed from this day to this day. Because if you're going through a lot of stress, you're going through a lot of changes, you're going through a lot of different adversities, you're trying to mix strategies together, you're trying to hotwire different things and hearing 5 different voices inside of your mind as you're going through a question, you got to identify that's probably the reason why you're not getting to the level that you want to, because you're trying to appease this person, this person, this person, this person, this person, and this person, when the only person that you should be trying to appease is this person right here. But a lot of times this person right here is the last person that gets to communicate or speak, especially if you're telling yourself, I shouldn't be able to do this, or I'm never going to be able to do this. Because what that means is I'm going to give up my identity, I'm going to give up my skills, I'm going to give up my abilities, I'm going to hand them off to the person that I'm putting trust in. And if they're in that black and white thinking of like it's this way or this way all the time, when they're not giving you the flexibility and fluidity and freedom to actually run the race that you want to run, of course you're going to be on edge, because you're looking for them to appease you, you're looking for them to confirm who you are, you're looking for them to affirm the things that you know. And if you're not getting the feedback that you want from that person, well, guess what? You're going to compromise more of yourself and see what they want you to do versus you solidifying who you are, getting your identity, getting your skills, your abilities, and talents, because everybody is uniquely gifted, talented, and have skills and abilities that nobody else possesses. But if you don't realize that you have those things, it's as good as not having them at all, because you don't appreciate the things that you have. Not to say you're not grateful, but if somebody's not giving you that confirmation or recognizing the skills and abilities that you have within inside of yourself, of course you're never going to prioritize those things because people have convinced you that they're not valuable, because a value only is important when somebody is willing to affirm or confirm or desire what you possess. But if you're in an environment or a space or a place that they're not telling you that you have skills and abilities and talents, and somebody's always trying to cut you at the neck and say, I know a better way than you do, or you should be doing it the way that I think, or man, it's only this way or this way, of course you're going to tell yourself that you're not great, because that's what you're hearing within your environment. So that's why I always tell people, man, it's positive thoughts, positive vibes, positive results. But if you have a negative environment, regardless of how positive you are, regardless of what other people outside of that environment that you're naturally occupying is like, the environment that you're in most, or the environment that you value the most, is going to determine how much value you place on the skills, abilities, and talents that you possess. So that's why I'm always telling you, don't ever give up. Don't ever let anybody take control of your situation. So that's why we say, don't let one thought, one situation, one person take you outside of what you know to be true, because what you know to be true and what you want to see in your life may be totally different than somebody else sees for you, or what you actually are open and available to at that moment. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't be open to feedback, but the person that is providing you that feedback should have a genuine lens. They should hear your perspective. They should pour into what you already have versus being like blowing up your entire environment. So that's what I'm telling you, is making sure that you're mindful of how you're talking to yourself, how other people are talking to you, what environments and spaces and places are you in, what energy are you getting from those spaces and places? And what is your view of where you're at? And do you need to take a step back and say, where did I start and where am I at right now? Because the problem is people tend to throw that view away and say, this is where I'm at right now. This is where I want to be. And then you're always looking forward and saying, I'm not where I want to be. Versus, man, this is where I was. These are the things that I used to think about myself. These were the skills and talents and abilities that I had within that situation. Versus being like, okay, it's all or nothing. So again, having that flexibility of looking back in the past, taking the lessons and blessings that you can, discarding all the negativity and all those things that weren't serving you, but then reminding yourself that you still have room to grow and where you want to be, but knowing that you're already where you're supposed to be in this given moment. Because it may not feel like you're in the right environments. It may not feel like you're talking to the right people. It may not feel like you're doing all these right things. But who are you to say whether it is the right thing or not? Because your views and values and morals and what you think is right is important. But if you're harsh on yourself, you're degrading yourself, you're always deflecting positivity away, or like sidestepping like you're playing football, of like, nope, I'm not the greatest person, or nope, don't give me that compliment, or whoop, you almost said something positive about me, or whoop, you said something negative, but it wasn't in a way that I wanted to. So again, embrace what you have, but don't embrace things that you know don't feel right for you. Don't do what somebody else is telling you to do for the sakes of who they are. Don't accept what somebody else has done just because of who they are. And that's why I always tell people, man, if I don't work for you, that's okay. Because I work for everyone. I'm not the person that everyone needs. But at the end of the day, if you know the person's not right for you, don't just accept it. Don't just fold like a deck of cards and be like, yep, I just am going to let this person tell me what to do. I feel uncomfortable. I'm feeling degraded, and I'm not going to get to that level. So hopefully that was helpful for somebody, because a lot of times people just are hearing all these different things and they just feel like they have to accept them based on the positionality that they view that person as at. But in addition to that, they often degrade themselves and shame themselves or blame themselves for the tendencies that they used to do. But you have to give yourself credit for recognizing, you have to give yourself credit for willing to do another way, or give yourself credit for even thinking of different adaptations that you can make. Because if you're harsh on yourself, regardless of what you do, or regardless of who you have around you, you're going to push everyone away because they're going to be like, doggone, every time that I give you a compliment, it's like you're ready to degrade me for being someone that's trying to look out for you. So again, keep building yourself up. Do not let one thought, one situation, one person take you outside of what you know to be true, and give yourself that grace, give yourself the credit, reflect on the things and skills and talents and abilities that you possess, not that somebody else possesses, and go into the exam and represent who you are. Your name should be on your back every time you go in the test. What you've been through should be on your back every time you go in the test. Who you want to do this for should be on your back every time that you're going into this test. Because again, if you feel alone, you got to really ask yourself, why do I feel isolated when everyone around me, regardless of if it's to my direct environment, but you could go on the internet, you could go on YouTube, and you'll find people that are looking out for you better than you're looking out for yourself sometimes. So again, keep giving yourself grace, keep building yourself up. Do not let one thought, one situation, one person take you outside of what you know to be true, and give it everything you have, everything. Pour it all out, because I want to see you go into that test, represent who you are, and never let one thought, one situation, one person. I don't care what other people tell you. I don't care how rigid people have told you to be. I don't care if people have tried being negative in your life. I don't care about those things. I care about who you are, your well-being, and not just passing this test, but getting past who you once were in order to live the life that you want, to become the best possible version of yourself, to keep digging deeper, keep finding lessons and blessings, keep getting connected to people that are going to charge you up and not degrade you down, not make you feel less than, not make you feel like you're never going to get there. But at the end of the day, if you never have a vision, you'll never be able to see where you want to go. If you don't have a mission, you will never identify what you're missing. If you never have a reason for why you're doing it, you're going to identify all of the reasons for why you should give up. But if you also don't have support, you're going to convince yourself that you have to supplement things that don't serve you in order to degrade yourself down to a level that you feel like you deserve to be treated in that way. So again, you need to be identifying what you need, but you also need to be pouring back into yourself. You need to be giving yourself everything that you can. You need to be representing who you are, where you're at, and where you want to go. But a lot of times people just be sacrificing who they are. So keep going, keep grinding, keep doing it, keep giving yourself grace, keep doing self-care, keep doing everything that you can, and allow for yourself to go through what you've been through in order to where you want to go, and keep getting the lessons and blessings that you can. Because you're going to have off days, you're going to have bad days, but don't let that off day and bad day turn into a couple of off days, bad days. Don't let that turn into a couple of off and bad weeks or months or years. Keep going, keep grinding, keep doing it, and keep becoming the best that you can be. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate every single one of you guys. Take care, be safe, keep building yourself up. You need anything from me, send me an email at berda24@gmail.com. I hope to see you in the one-day course, the free study group, individual tutoring, the Sunday study groups, or anything in any capacity. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate every single one of you guys. You guys are amazing, you're gifted, you're talented, and don't let anybody convince you otherwise, because you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate every single one of you guys. I love you guys. Take care, be safe, and peace out, guys.